Hey Lauren,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Good, good. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Can you see me and hear me fine?
Yes,
Okay,
perfectly. Awesome. All right, the stage is yours.
okay. Thank you so much, Ahmed.
Cool.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Lauren Green, and I'm an Android developer and designer at Snap Mobile. And today I'm going to be talking about jazzing up your bottom bar with micro animations. So Zeppelin Mobile is a free app created by Snap Mobile and using Zeppelin's API. And what it is an app for developers and designers to collaborate, communicate, and to view designs on the go. And we're going to be animating Zeppelin's bottom bar. So what is a bottom bar? So bottom bar is a bar at the bottom of a screen, and it's used to navigate between primary destinations in an app. And we're going to be jazzing it up using Shapeshifter. So Shapeshifter is a free online web-based tool created by Alex Lockwood. And what it is it's a tool to create animated vector drawables for Android. And you can find it at shapeshifter.design. So this is our bottom bar before. As you can see, it's a little bit static. It's not that interesting. And this is what we're going to be doing to it. We're going to be adding these really cool micro animations. But first, some design rules. So the first rule is about the artboard size and to separate animation layers. So the artboard needs to be 24 by 24 pixels. And then what you've got to do is you've got to separate the animation layers. So as you can see here, we have the bell and the ding part of the bell separated because we're going to animate those separately. And then we have the full start and the full end. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to fill the bell like in Google Play. So we do this in Figma or Sketch. The second rule is to redraw the paths if you want the path itself to be animated. So what do I mean by that? So you need to use the vector or pen tool in Sketch or Figma instead of using the line tool. And then we can actually animate the path itself so it looks like we're actually drawing a line, which is pretty cool. The third rule is animation speed. So typically micro animations are between 200 to 300 milliseconds, but for this talk, I did it between, well, for my bottom bar, I did the micro animations between 500 and 600 milliseconds because this is just kind of what felt right. So let's animate. So these are the animations that I created. We've got the profile, the notifications, the project's notifications and profile icons. But for this talk, we're going to be focusing on the bell or the notification icon. So the first thing we have to do is we need to add a rotation. So what we do is we create a new group layer and we name it group bell. And then we take our bell SVG and we drop it into that group layer. And then we add a rotation to the group layer. This is because you can only add rotations to a group. Then we make each rotation, we add 4 rotations and we make each one 150 milliseconds. So we can drag it out like I'm showing now, or you can click on it and you can adjust the start time and the end time. And we do that basically for all 4. And the next step we have to do is we need to make the bell rotate from side to side. So we make it from 22 to 0, minus 22 to 0, 20 to 0, minus 22 to 0. And basically that makes it rotate 4 times to left, right, left, right. And you can see there, let's just play that again, that didn't look quite right. And that's because we need to make the rotation around pivot X and pivot Y around the center of our artboard. So our artboard is 24 by 24 pixels. We want it to rotate around the center. So now we can see we rotate around the center. Now it looks right. The next thing we want to do is we need to add the ding part, which is going to be animated separately. So we rename that ding. Again, we create a group layer. We call it group ding. We add the rotation to the group layer. We add 4 rotations again. we make each rotation 150 milliseconds. Then what we do as well is we make it rotate from side to side, left, right, like we did before. And what we do now is we add the pivot X and pivot Y as 12 and 4. This is because it just felt right at 12 and 4 when I experimented. And then we drag everything to the right. And this is because I want a slight offset between the bell and the ding. So you can see there's like a slight lag, and that's what I wanted. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually fill the bell, and this is called path morphing. So now we're going to import our fill start and our fill end that we created in Figma. And what we're going to do is we're going to select path data, and then we're going to click on the fill end. We're going to copy. So what we just did there is we copied the path data for the fill end, and then we're going to paste that into our path data for fill start as the ending value from the to value. So we paste it in, we just click the auto fix, and then we can delete that path altogether because it's now in our path data. So we rename it fill, and we drag the fill into our group bell because we wanted to fill and rotate at the same time. And that's exactly what we wanted. So another way, instead of doing it from within Shapeshifter itself, another thing that you can do is you can do it within Figma or Sketch. So what you do is you say copy as SVG in Figma or Sketch, and then you basically get this code over here. And then you take everything within path D inside the inverted commas, you copy that and use that within Shapeshifter. So that's just another way of doing it instead of doing it within Shapeshifter. So now to the fun part, the code. So the first thing we have to do is we have to export our file as an animated vector drawable. And basically what this does, it creates our XML code for us. So everything we just did in Shapeshifter is that code on the left. All of that was done for us. We didn't have to write any of this code. Like, how cool. It saved us so much time. The next thing we need to do is in our app module file, we need to use the support library for vector drawables. So you put that in. And then what you do is you take all your animated vector drawables XML files from Shapeshifter and you just drop them into your drawable folder. Now you can use them. So the next thing we have to do is we have to create selectors for our projects, notifications, and profile. But we're just going to look at the notifications one. So basically, you use this code here, you put it in as XML into your drawable folder. And basically inside the first item for state on and for transition, we use our animated vector drawable. And then for state off, we use the normal drawable file. The next thing we need to do is inside our bottom nav menu. Previously, our icon was referring to a normal drawable, just the regular drawable, which is just an image of a bell. But now what we're referring to is our selector. So now the bottom nav menu is going to know to use the selector now and on the different state changes. So when you click, the animation happens, the selector does this for us. So now we test it. Okay, there was a bit of an issue there. So just firstly to mention, the animations at this stage were not what they were supposed to be, so they're not fully done. But we were just testing here the fill for projects. So as you can see here, it doesn't look quite right. It's supposed to look like that. We're supposed to see the little man in white appear. We just see orange. So what's going on? So this is our first bug. So we have a fill tint error for the projects icon. And how we fix that? We go into our main activity. We go into our setup navigation, and we add this line of code highlighted in the box. So basically, what we're doing is removing the default tint from the bottom bar if your icon has more than one color. And we can see here, we do have more than one color. We have the orange and the white. So now when we test it, we can see it works perfectly fine now. That's exactly what we wanted. But now, on start of the app, we can see it doesn't look right. There's no background. Then when we click into our projects and we navigate away, again, there's no background. So what's going on now? We have another bug. So we have no fill after the fragment view is recreated. So just explaining this, this represents state on and this is state off. Then when we click it, that is our transition. Now we rotate our screen and on destroy is called because we have a config change. And basically now why we don't see the fill when we have a configuration change or when we navigate away and the view is destroyed, the fragment is destroyed, basically is because now we're referring to our AVD notifications, our animated vector drawable, and the beginning part for our AVD is not filled. It only fills once the animation starts. So this is what we had before. We had in state on, we had our AVD notifications. How do we fix that? Well, we refer to, instead of our AVD now, on state on, we refer to basically just a full drawable. So I just made a full drawable in Figma. I imported that into my Android Studio. And now you can see we navigate into projects. It's working. We click on notifications. We do a configuration change. On destroy is called. And again, it's now working. So great. This is exactly what we wanted. The last thing we need to talk about is dark theme. So currently, we have dark theme is not being supported. And you can see it's supposed to be a light orange color and it's a dark orange. It's not supposed to look like that. Basically, all you need to do is you need to remember to remove the hard-coded colors in your AVD files, because when you export your file from Shapeshifter, the colors are hard-coded. We need to remember to use our material theme colors, color primary, or whatever you're using, and then it works. So just don't forget to do that. You can easily forget that, but just remember to do that. So success, we have successfully implemented our micro animations and it is looking amazing. So some key takeaways. Creating animated vector drawables is simple and fun and you should definitely try it out. Don't forget to remove the hard-coded colors in your AVD so that dark theme is supported. And if your icon has more than one color in it, remove the default tint from the bottom bar, as we saw in our first bug. And don't forget, if your icon in between state needs to be accounted for when using filled icon design. So this wouldn't be an issue if you were doing an icon that didn't have a fill, but if you are doing an icon with a fill, you need to account for this. Otherwise, you're going to see those errors in the bug 2 that we witnessed. So here's some further reading that you might be interested in on Shapeshifter and animations. These really helped me to learn how to use Shapeshifter. So I would recommend these. And lastly, I just want to say a special thanks to my brother Renclav, or my brother Dylan, aka Renclav, to Alex Lockwood and to my colleague Pierre for all their guidance and assistance. And yeah, that brings us to the end of my talk. Thank you so much. Thank you to the DevFest team for being so awesome and allowing me to speak. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is LaurenCatGreen. I'm going to be posting more tutorials on animated vector drawables and Shapeshifter. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I hope you guys enjoy that and I hope you learned something.